All right, and we're back, guys. And I guess Mr. Golf expert over here, at least compared to me being a normie. Um, so the Masters ended on Sunday. We're recording this Tuesday night. Usually we do Monday nights, but uh, last week we had stuff to do. I definitely did. So tell me what's up with so Matsuyama. Tell me what happened, man. Give me a rundown and all.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I'd say when it comes to Masters, this one was pretty interesting because I think the old saying goes for the Masters that you can't win the Masters on a Thursday. You can only win it on the back nine on a Sunday. But what really happened was Matsuyama really, I guess, took this Masters in the back nine on Saturday. In case, for all of you that haven't watched, it was a really, really up and down week in terms of, I guess, weather too. And so Thursday, it was really, really dry. Greens were so fast, lightning fast. People described it as probably one of the hardest master rounds ever. So the only player that came out basically unscathed was Justin Rose shooting a 765. So
Which
he led
is
the field by he led it by 4 strokes after day one. So that was
yeah.
a good lead. But through the week, he didn't play as well as I would think he would play. He really just played even par to one over. And so like it was just very much I guess, disappointing down the stretch kind of performance from him. I am not sure if it's him and it's the pressure of being like in first place and trying to hold on to that first place, or just that the conditions in Suma as well. What happened Saturday was the big story was that during the day, everything went on as normal, but then there was a rain delay for a few hours. And after rain delay, greens became softer, and Matsuyama was the one guy that really took advantage of that. So he went, I think, out of 8 holes, he went 6 under in 8 holes in the back nine. So he was on a scorching tear, led the field by 4 strokes at the end of Saturday. So that was really good. He was at minus 11. Coming to Sunday, he's all he needed to do was just not totally collapse. That was basically the only story, and he didn't. There were moments. I would definitely caution that he did have some really dicey, like uneasy moments that got the pressure kind of going. But he ended up pulling away, one by one stroke, shooting a 1 over 73. But congratulations to Hideki Matsuyama, first Asian-born player to win the Masters. So making history here as well.
Is it true? I heard this someone who watched Masters telling me. So during the rain delay, while everyone else is talking with their caddies and stuff and just strategizing, he
Yeah,
went into this car and he played like video games on his phone, and then
right,
he just came
right.
out and then did this. Oh my goodness, is why is that's insane, man. And
Yeah,
the fact that you could win it on a Saturday or like the has this usually doesn't happen, right? Usually it's much more competitive, or it's heading into Sunday. That's when the drama and the action is.
usually I would say. I mean, like some of them are a little bit different. Like when Tiger won in '97, of course he won by a 12-stroke margin. So
Or it's
it
like Spieth and was it?
right.
Yeah,
Jordan Spieth, that wasn't that close either. So it's just like, there's some select ones, but usually it'd be much more of a close thing, kind of fair. I think it's especially like surprising for Hideki is because he didn't pull away from the pack before Saturday, so it was still a very much of a crowded field. But that back nine really just immediately set kind of like the field and then saw where the divisions were between him, which is like way up here, 4-stroke lead, and everyone else in the field. So that was something that I guess was seen like very rarely in this Masters history.
was so you're talking about how Justin Rose, he started off amazing. I thought, I was going to come on and be like, man, Justin Rose, you were right. That's what you predicted. We had this discussion, was it last
I
week, right? You predicted Justin Rose, And
I
I was like, oh my goodness.
so I actually didn't predict Rose, but
Oh,
um, I predicted the other Justin. So Justin Thomas.
Thomas, my bad, my bad.
All good, all good. So, okay, so in terms of my predictions, they actually did pretty well. I said Bryson DeChambeau wasn't going to do that well at the Masters. He ended up not doing that well. I would just caution him for, if you wanted to like try out a new driver, maybe not try it out at Masters Week at Augusta
Oh
National.
God.
I mean, just a fair warning there.
Yeah.
But he shot 5 over as his final score. And then you got Brooks Koepka. I said it was health depending. So again, I think his knee really bothered him. So he ended up missing a cut, unfortunately. Justin Thomas was the guy I picked to win, and he did really good. He was really promising. He was actually on pace to, really just come out and lead the leaderboard. But after that rain delay Saturday, things kind of really went downhill. He kind of imploded on 15. That was, he hit a 8, which is a triple bogey on that hole, which really just sunk his chances at any idea of making a run. So that was really tough for him as well. So yeah, what was you going to ask about Justin Rose though?
So did he was kind of stagnating before that, but the rain delay, do you think that clearly affected the fact that he couldn't maintain the lead?
I think it did, because coming out of the rain delay, like he hit, I think his ball striking and just like his way of like green to tee to green kind of approach and everything like that became a little bit more erratic, I would say. He wasn't like at the top of his game. Before the rain delay, I think on Saturday he was doing a little bit better, because Friday he got the nerves, and then Saturday I think he settled down a little bit. But after that rain delay, just it really changed everything. Flipped the script there.
So if you were to nerd out and tell me, like, so Matsuyama, we can say, oh, he went on this tear and all. So was it more of the fact that his putting just in the greens just became different, to where his putting just drastically improved, or was it just that fact, like his approach just, I've heard again, so right after this happened, I've listened to Bill Simmons' podcast. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
So they have Kevin Clark and Bill Simmons are having a discussion about this, and how Matsuyama is a good, I guess you said this term, like green to tee guy, but tee to green, but he's not necessarily been the best putter.
Correct.
So the fact that maybe this rain delay changed the greens is the fact that was the putting the biggest improvement. Was, like, if there was like one key area, was that like why Matsuyama won?
I think so. The reason why he won for him was that he maintained a above average putting the entire week. So that was his week. His weakness was he can have great putting days and he can have really bad putting days. During this week, he didn't have that many bad putting days. He had either really good or average putting days, which really helps him. He has a very good sense of ball striking, better than most players in the field. Having a rain delay and having softer greens means he could be slightly more aggressive. So he basically aimed right at the pin, and he could basically stop the ball few feet away from the pin, which really helps for those kind of players. Usually on a fast green, you have to aim for more safe spots, because if you aim right for the pin, it could just trickle down somewhere into a place that you don't want to, have your putt going. So I think the main keys were good ball striking. So he really kept that up this week. And then the biggest thing is to not have any kind of like relapses and bad putting. He really just was pretty solid in his putting all week, and that really helped him make sure he won this green jacket.
Yeah. I guess so. I was thinking, I think you kind of mentioned this in the brief overview of that, but so Matsuyama, do you think there was part of it that because he was firmly in the driver's seat after Saturday, that he played being much more safe on Sunday, that not to be risk averse, to maintain the lead rather than go out? Or do you think it was genuinely just he wasn't doing that great on Sunday?
I would say he tried to play semi-safe, so that is partly true. But during the latter part of the tournament, like in the last 9 holes on Sunday, the pressure really like started to come on a little bit. So he was forced to, go back to not just like playing all the safe shots because that wouldn't be helpful at that point. He needed to also just like also attack and make sure that he kept that score to go. Mainly, he wanted to go back in the reds, also in the red numbers, to go into back in the negatives, but he ended up never doing that. But just to make sure that he wasn't too relaxed, because at one point there's Xander Schauffele at hole 16 was one shot behind Hideki Matsuyama. So he had a chance on 16, which is a par 3, to basically tie him and force a playoff. Unfortunately, Xander hit the water on his tee shot on 16, so that really ended the chances there. But basically, the pressure was really, really high. I think he did hit some bad shots earlier, but he ended up kind of like mitigating the damage where other players couldn't, and so he ended up winning with that big lead because that really helped him too. So, yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about the Masters? Did you like it this time? Was it better than usual, worse than usual, about the same?
Well, I would say that for me, someone that like knows a little bit more about golf, I liked it. I thought it was really interesting, just like the overall leaderboard. I think someone that a lot of pundits are now mentioning is the second place finisher, Will Zalatoris. Um, he doesn't have his full PJ status on tour yet. So technically he's only on tour for, I think through sponsor exemptions and other kinds of, oh yeah, also because he finished tied 7th at Winged Foot last year for the U.S. Open. So he got that partial season exemption. But that's why he doesn't have any FedEx points accumulated, is because he's not earned his full season PGA Tour card. And so we're looking towards him. I think he has a very promising future to win a tournament, and then he'll be, on the PGA Tour full time from then on. So that'll be interesting. And a lot of the big names went down this week, which it's you could say that's good, but I guess for the general audience, it could be like a little bit of a letdown. They got like Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, Roy McIlroy.
Yeah.
They all didn't even make the cut. So I guess for a general audience, it could be a little bit of a letdown. But for us, golf nerds, I really liked it. Really just enjoyed watching it. So
I guess for us golf normies, for us it's like Tiger or nothing, right? So we just got to hope for a new Tiger. Maybe this second place guy that you're mentioning. I mean, that's unfair. That's unfair to compare, of course.
Right.
But it's always, again, like I think you're right. It's my friend lives in this the suite with me. He was watching the Masters, but it was for Rory, man. And the fact that Rory, got out, he was still watched it, and he told me about Matsuyama. That at least for I'll hold on to that. That's like one of those crazy stories that like, oh, I'm just gonna play some games on my phone and then oop,
Right.
yeah. But I think a lot of it, we just gotta hope for that star to just be dominant to watch golf. But
Right.
definitely with us talking about golf more than I'm used to, I'm gonna I'm getting into it a little bit. I was busy as hell. I was there's tons of 3 papers due over the weekend, and like, man, but I was still keeping up with that leaderboard. So
Awesome.
that's character development on my part. So yeah.
There you go. There you go.
All right. All right.